playing it a bit fine there.
Where's that 5 you owe me?
Won't look good for the people who matter. I mean, what is it? Late for appointments and duty, unreliable.
Leave it out, Stan.
Doesn't perform well in stressful situations.
I said leave it out.
Loses his temper easily.
Oh, come on, Stanley, just leave him out.
Yeah, just pack it in, will you, Stan?
All right. Do you think you lost your bottle by that much?
Every time I'm late, I have to put up with you going on and on.
Hey, come on, what's going on here?
I've been skipping.
Let's get a shift on, shall we? 1100 hours, Mr. Conway's office, right?
Yes, sir.
Oi! This is supposed to be an early call. I want to pull these characters before they're out their sleeping bags.
I'm sorry, Gov.
Yeah. You tell him, Ted.
15 Delwood Road, name's John Holden.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him. Lives with a girl called Claire Davis. A couple of small-time dope dealers. Right now, the resin that they've got at the moment is distinctive. It's covered on one side with a layer of yacht varnish, and we're pulling them to get to the suppliers.
Yeah, and I want to nick them before the drug squad get a whisper.
Right.
So, it's going to be a busy morning. The uniform's trying to load you up with any extra work. Tell them to get stuffed. Right, you fit, Jim?
Yep.
Good. Oi, can I have that back, please?
Mr. Tompkins.
No sign of anything.
Key holder informed?
He's on his way.
Right. Well, we better have a look around, hadn't we?
It'll be a formality.
Yeah, we can't take these things for granted.
Christine, your APA on Edwards.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it a bit tough?
I didn't think so. If anything, I've been lenient.
It was the worst performance assessment I've seen in months, and your comments don't help much.
It's my honest opinion. He said he was expecting something better.
Well, what's the problem then?
As I say in the report, he's on edge, gets things out of proportion, loses his temper.
Still problems at home, eh?
I think so, sir.
Well, doesn't he talk to you about it?
I have had a go. There was some suggestion of him going back to Wales. At least his wife seemed to think so.
His wife?
Yeah, she came in a couple of weeks ago. Still, he hasn't applied for a transfer.
Listen, if he keeps getting reports like this, he'd be lucky to stay with the job. Never mind a transfer.
You told me you'd fixed it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holden. I'll have another look.
You realise this is the third time?
It's just a teething problem.
Teething my backside.
Yeah, hold on a minute,
You know
sir.
how much we're paying this man? Just to get me out of bed?
Yeah, if you just listen a
There's
minute.
been a bit of wind now. That can sometimes
I want a
cause-
burglar alarm, not a weather report.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind keeping quiet for a bit, sir. Can we get that thing switched off?
Yeah.
If there was a break-in, it wouldn't be much use anyway. Time it takes for you lot to get here.
Right, can you just have a check round, please, sir? Just a check. It's in your own interests. I am right, aren't I? This is the third time the thing's gone off.
We've had a few problems, yeah.
Over what period of time? Do you know?
Well, without checking the record sheet.
You are aware of the rules, aren't you? 3 false call-outs in a month, and this place is on our blacklist. No police cover until the fault is fixed.
I don't need a lecture. Oh, this is all right.
What have you got in here?
Leather goods, equestrian equipment.
The rest of your stock?
Well, denims mostly. Look, I can't see anybody wanting...
No, sir. But if you'd like to check for the paperwork.
Mr. Holden, as far as we're concerned, you're not being done for dealing, just possession. Could you tell us more about this Poulter?
What museum did you get him out of?
He couldn't be more cooperative, sir.
Naming names.
Just one. Geezer he was doing some decorating for, gave him some of the stuff in lieu of wages. Man named Poulter. Works in the music business. Big money. And he's on our patch.
Come up and see me when you've got a statement, will you?
Sir?
I've got a funny feeling about this one, Frank.
Well, it's perfectly straightforward.
Just get the statement first, eh?
I'm gonna need a van down here, Viv. Right, stay with them, and I'll tell Tom Penny to be ready with the air freshener.
Stomach pump might come in handy and all.
Sunhill
It'll
Police,
make
can
his
I help
day,
you?
George. Out.
Could you give me the name of the warehouse, sir? Right. I'll send someone straight away. Of course, sir. Thank you. That burglar alarm.
Eh?
The one that Taffy went to earlier. Looks like there was a break-in.
Oh,
All right. Well, he isn't here at the
God.
moment.
Sarge!
What's up?
I'm simply urging a bit of caution, Frank. If this one goes to the wall and we haven't told the drug squad, they'll have us up in front of the commissioner. Now, I'm not looking for a fight, OK? Now, you've just said you weren't sure what he'd got, right?
All the more reason to give him a spin, sir.
Look, I'd tell the squad and leave it there, right?
Is this official?
Of course not.
Well, it's beginning to sound it.
Just do yourself a favour, will you? I am your supervising officer and I don't want this landing on my doorstep, OK? Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, sir.
Frank, have a word.
No. Warrant?
Almost there, collecting a couple of hours.
You and I are going on Obbo, so you better get your skates on. Right, I want the I's dotted and the T's crossed on this one, which means I'm going to be breathing down both your necks. Any arguments, argue with the chief.
Frank, Mallon's warehouse in Old Bridge Lane. There's been a break-in.
Ted, spare him an hour, will you? And then he's back here.
Richard, excuse me.
Yes, Sarge?
When Edwards comes in, we tell him in my office, please.
Yes, Sarge.
Scratch marks. I'd say they swung down on a rope and crampon.
He didn't really check, no. He was more interested in telling me the police were about to stop bothering.
But you did show him the points of entry.
Yeah. He had a quick look round and then he left.
Very professional. They obviously knew what they were after.
I'll need a list of your employees. Everyone who's worked here over the last 6 months.
Fine.
We'll also need a full statement, so would you mind coming down the station?
Too right, I will. I'm going to make a complaint.
Your prerogative.
Yeah, well, who can blame him? I mean, what the hell was Edwards thinking of to miss something as obvious as this?
Well, I asked Mr. Holland to show me the points of entry.
And?
He did. We had a look round and it was another false alarm.
And that was that?
I don't understand what you mean.
You've been to Mallon's warehouse once already this week, right?
Yeah, and I told them that after 3 false
I know
alarms...
what you said, Taff. I've seen the place. He's been in here and made a complaint.
Eh?
You went in there this morning thinking, oh, another false alarm, stuff it, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I investigated the possible access points.
Well, you missed something.
What's that?
4 dozen pairs of riding boots, a ton apiece, 15 German and Swiss riding saddles, about £1,000 each, top coats, hard hats, wax jackets, dressage jackets. All in all, about 35,000 quid's worth. Tell me about the points of entry.
Look, I asked him to show me them.
Have you forgotten your training?
No, Sarge.
Don't take it as gospel. We get an alarm. You are sent. You investigate. You don't go swanning off at the first opportunity or come back here and ring the missus.
That's not fair, Sarge.
What is it with you, Edwards? It's not even slackness, is it?
I don't think this is fair treatment.
You what?
Anybody could have made that mistake. I went in, asked the guy to show me around, and he did. If it had been any other officer...
Yes?
I don't think you'd be so critical.
You honestly think I've got it in for you?
I do, yes.
Well, then you better bring that up at your APO with Mr. Conway, hadn't you?
I don't intend to do that.
No, well, I wouldn't if I were you, because you've got enough explaining to do after this morning. And you try spitting on me in the process, and I wouldn't give your chances in this station more than 5 minutes. You clear? Out.
Any luck?
Oh, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I've had a word with the concierge.
The what?
Security. Now, Porter's place is on the top floor, number 23, the one with the satellite dish. There's 2 exits, one on the ground floor and one via the roof from a fire escape. That's his boat.
Which one?
The one with the blue stripe. And his Porsche's parked round the corner.
So he's about then?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Just one LP in the charts, that's all it took him, apparently.
Yeah, and one visit from us and it'll all come crashing down.
You all set then? Sarge? We know what he wants. Direct answers, OK?
Sarge?
Come in. You can take it up with whoever you want, Frank, but that's the most I can spare. Thank you.
What? 2 uniform?
I did what I could.
What is this, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Police Work?
Well, if it is, I'm not a member. Priorities, right? Not my priorities. You know what he's like.
Yeah, don't I just?
Doesn't like the smell of this one.
Oh, I know. Not my responsibility. Send it up the road.
Well, if he told you that...
Of course he didn't tell me that. He's covering himself. I pull it off, most old gets a backhanded compliment. I screw it up, he'd be the first one to tell Brownlow I could see it coming.
You can have Melvin and Garfield.
That'll have to do then.
Oh, by the way, that warehouse job this morning, that's Ted Roach's priority as well.
Oh, come on, Chrissy.
It's got to be cleared up, Frank.
There's no question they used someone on the inside that had the location spot on. And it could be they knew the security systems had been activated before.
Or they set it off a couple of times themselves.
Yes, sir. Those were the lines I'd been thinking on. As I was saying, there is one name on the payroll that seems very likely. Leonard Arthur Dobson.
Lenny Dobson? He is out of prison, is he?
Yes, sir, I did check that out.
Oh, good. Be nice to get this cleared up, a bit sharpish. Saves a lot of embarrassment. Right, Edwards. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Go on, sit down. It's not quite a discipline job.
Not quite.
No. But wouldn't you say it was a fairly major cock-up?
Chris Poulter. One of your more laid-back, turned-on, tuned-in, drop-dead sort of fellas. So we're not expecting any violence. Hence, it's a small operation.
No, that's the only reason, is it, Gov?
The only reason I can give you without getting a lot of aggro off the chief. Now, if I didn't think we could pull this off, we wouldn't be here. Now, we'll more than likely find a cannabis in Poulter's gaff, but he does have a boat adjacent to the flat, which means I'll need a couple of fellas on the ground. That's you and you, Melvin, in case anyone makes a break for the briny. He's more than likely transferred the drugs by now, so it's simply a precautionary measure. Carver is already on the roof. Here. You, Garfield, will be with me, knocking politely on the front door.
Yes, Gov.
Late for duty, won't adapt, acts without thinking. Inspector Fraser notes that you're prone to nervous tension and anxiety.
I have been once or twice, yes, sir.
But you'd say that was normal in any officer?
Yes, sir. Well, we all have our moments, don't we? It's a stressful job.
I'm aware of that. Inspector Fraser is too. But it shouldn't be affecting your work, not to this extent.
Perhaps not, no.
You seen anyone about it? A doctor or a counsellor?
It's not that serious.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't dismiss it that easily. I had you down as a promising officer, and right now they seem to be becoming a rare commodity. I hardly need tell you that an officer with only half his mind on the job is a liability to others and a danger to himself.
Yes, sir.
And now you're telling me it's not the job. So, it must be something else. Any suggestions?
I find it... It's difficult, I don't know.
Some time ago you were talking about a transfer.
Yes, sir. But that wasn't me, really. It was Mary, my wife. It was just a thought she had. I'm happy where I am.
But she's not.
No.
Talk to me about Mary.
I'm in position, Gov.
Right, Jim. Melvin.
Yes, Gov. There's no sign of any movement yet.
It wasn't your wife who spoke to Inspector Fraser, was it? Now, whatever's happening at her...
It's my business. With respect, sir.
It was your business until it started affecting your work. Now it's my business. I could put you on a discipline charge for what you did this morning. Do you fancy a 3,000 quid fine, do you?
No, sir.
Over the past 3 months, absent 4 times, late for duty 9 times, failing to comply with general orders, bringing discredit to the force. Just look at your arrest rate. Right. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pass you or your APA. What I would like to recommend, as strongly as I can, is that you see a counsellor. Dirty word, is it?
I don't think I need it, sir.
Well, that's your decision. I can't force you to see a counsellor. But one way or the other, Edwards, you've got to sort this out. Because if you carry on the way you're going, you're going to find yourself without a job. Now, think about it. The ball's in your court. If you decide you want help, people will fall over backwards to make sure you get it. If you want to go it alone, that's up to you. You can go.
Open up! Police! We're police officers.
What is it? What do you want? Chris!
Would you mind, madam? I don't need a new coat.
You're not coming in, all right? Look, we're doing the place up.
Excuse me, love, we do have a warrant.
I don't care what you've got. Screw off!
Look, if you don't let us through, you're going to get something more than my dry cleaning bill.
If you hadn't barged in...
You stop waving that thing around. It's loaded.
Chris!
The hell?
God, there's some clobber around here, isn't there?
Yeah, and some.
We do have a warrant to search these premises. Now, it would save everybody a lot of time.
For. It's not exactly convenient.
You have reason to believe you're in possession of illegal substances, namely cannabis with intent to sell.
You're joking.
Never been more earnest in my life, pal. Now, are you going to tell us where it is, or do we have to turn the place over?
There's nothing here, right?
Garfield, could you call up the TSG and see if there's a unit available?
Yes,
this
sir.
could take some time. Mr. Poulter, if you wouldn't mind coming with me.
Sierra
Madam?
Oscar from 218, receiving, over.
Sierra Oscar receiving. Go ahead, 218.
Right, if you wouldn't mind opening this box, sir.
Hi, Garfield!
Jim. She seems a bit worried.
Authority freaks her out.
George? Sierra Oscar receiving.
Calm down, easy.
Would you mind opening this one now, please, sir? Christopher Andrew Poulter, I'm arresting you on suspicion of possessing a quantity of cannabis resin with intent to sell, contrary to Section 7 of the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971. OK.
Oh, sir, a phone call for you. Area drugs.
Come in, Christine. Put it through for me, will you please, Eileen?
Yes, sir.
DS Roach has made an arrest on that warehouse job.
Oh, thank God for that.
Lenny Dobson found all the gear in his cellar.
Oh, dear me. Hello, Chief Inspector Conway. Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah. A quick in and out job, as the actress said to the... Sorry? Oh, I see. Look, I'm afraid I'm going to have to call you back on this one. Yes. Yes, I do understand, sir. Thank you. Oh, Gordon Bennett.
Take her into custody.
Yes, Gov, come on, love.
Don't worry, it's nothing to do with you.
Yeah? How come she tried to leg it then? Now listen, Mush. Why don't you come down off that planet of yours and tell us where you put the rest of the stuff? We know it's off the boat. Holden told us.
Who's Holden?
Go and sort the paperwork out, Jim.
Have you seen Taffy?
I'm sorry, sir.
Give us your name.
Yeah, carry on.
Have you seen Taffy?
No.
My name is...
Sit down, will you, sir, and give us your name and address. You're obliged by law to give me your name and address.
Fancy joining the mounted branch?
Yes, sir. We have recovered drugs, resin and some speed. Not in any great quantities as yet, but there's a thorough search of the flat still going on.
Just the flat?
At the moment, sir, yes. 4 of the lads are down there now. We've reason to believe he's already made the transfer.
Well, thank God somebody gave you a bum steer.
Sorry, sir?
They won't find anything in his flat. It's all on his boat. 4 million quid's worth. And I've pulled our people off before they look any further. He's not a dealer, Frank. He's a courier. Your man downstairs is going to be charged on nothing more serious than smoking an OXO cube.
What are you talking about, sir?
You were just about to screw up a major customs and excise operation. They've been trailing Poulter for weeks. He's due to deliver the boat and the drugs at the Chandler's Yard in 3 days' time. The squad were going to move in on a pickup and nab the big boys.
I don't believe this.
Did I advise caution, or did I not? Just think, Frank, if you'd have gone for that boat, you'd have broken the major link in the chain and got yourself on a charge big enough to put you back in uniform. Go downstairs, get him on the sheet, bail him for 4 days until the stuff's been analysed.
Yes, sir.
We'll just have to hope that he's still got enough bottle to make the delivery as planned. You'd better start praying your little antics haven't scared him off. And when you've done that, you better go down on bended knees to the drug squad, because they're expecting a call.
Here, Tack, give us a hand, will you? What is it? Well, no, mate. Worked my butt off for you all morning. I've been back twice.
Good for you.
Look at that. Lenny Dobson and his mob were going to ride off into the sunset on a dozen of these. How did you miss anything as big as this?
Mr. Poulter.
Why don't you go take a running jump? I'm fed up with people like you having a go at me.
All right.
I mean, first thing this morning you started.
Hey, come on, you two. Stan, get this shifted. Come on, stop wasting time. Taffy, your missus has just been on the phone.
Oh.
Well, she wanted to know how it went.
How what went?
Your APA.
Oh.
Well, don't you want to talk to me about it?
Is there any point?
Yes, I think there's every point.
Well, I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to discuss anything with anybody.